You were never really a kid. Like, technically, yes. You were small, you went to school, you had a lunchbox, but while other kids were just being kids, you were already watching, reading the room, calculating, not because you wanted to, because someone had to. Maybe you were making dinner while your friends were making TikToks. Maybe you could read your parents' mood before you could read chapter books. If any of that hit, keep watching, because there is actually a name for what happened to you. And once you know it, nothing will feel the same. Psychologists call it pseudo maturity. Pseudo meaning fake, not fake as in you're lying. Fake as in you looked mature on the outside while your inside never got to finish growing. In 1973, researchers gave it an even scarier name, parentification. That's when a child gets pushed into the role of the adult, not because they chose it, because the system around them failed. You learned to manage a household, but nobody taught you to manage your own emotions. That's not maturity. That's survival wearing maturity's clothes. Picture this: you're 9 years old. The house is quiet, but not the good kind of quiet. The kind where something is wrong and your body already knows it before your brain does. Your little sibling is hungry. You can see it. And you already know nobody else is coming. So you climb up on the counter, open the fridge, find whatever's left, and you make something work. You don't cry, you don't ask for help. You just handle it because you already learned the rule. If you don't do it, nobody will. And just like that, a child became an adult, not by choice, by necessity. Here's where it gets wild. In 1998, researchers Felitti and Anda ran the biggest study of its kind, over 17,000 people. They called it the ACE study, Adverse Childhood Experiences. What they found? The more hard things you went through as a kid, the higher your risk of depression, anxiety, and even heart disease as an adult. 4 or more of these experiences, your risk doubles, sometimes quadruples. But here's the part that actually broke me. In 2023, Nature Neuroscience published a study showing that kids who grew up in high stress environments had literally rewired their brains. The part that detects danger, your amygdala, it never turned off, even now, even when you're safe. Even when there's nothing wrong, your brain is still scanning, still waiting for something to go wrong, because it learned to survive, and it never got the memo that you don't need to anymore. And here's the cruel joke of all of this: the skills you built, they worked. You became the reliable one, the one who always shows up, the one who never needs anything from anyone. Teachers loved you, bosses promoted you, friends leaned on you, and part of you felt like, okay, maybe this is just who I am. Maybe this is my superpower. But every superpower came with a price. That ability to read a room, it came from hypervigilance, always waiting for something bad to happen. That independence everyone admires, psychologists call it hyperindependence. And it's not strength. It's a trauma response. It means you learned that the only safe person to rely on is yourself, because everyone else eventually let you down. It wasn't a superpower, it was armor, and you never got to take it off. So, what does this actually look like when you're grown? In relationships, you're always the one who gives. You anticipate what people need before they even ask. You manage their emotions on top of your own. Psychologist John Bowlby called what healthy kids grow up with a secure base, a feeling that someone has your back, no matter what. You never had that. So you love carefully, one foot always near the door, because somewhere in the back of your mind, a 9-year-old is still whispering, don't get too comfortable. They'll leave. They always leave. At work, you're the one who stays late, says yes when you mean no, feels guilty for resting, because without the doing, you're terrified of who you are underneath all of it. And in friendships, you're the therapist, the listener, the one who always asks, how are you, and never gets asked back. Psychologist Pete Walker calls this the fawn response. You please, you perform, you prioritize everyone else, not out of kindness, out of fear that if you stop, they'll leave too. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Society didn't just ignore what happened to you. It rewarded it. You were the child who never complained, who handled everything, who made adults feel comfortable. And they said, he's such an old soul. Those sound like compliments. But what they actually mean is, this child learned to suffer quietly. And it is convenient for us. Researchers call this adultification bias. When society takes a child's survival response and calls it a personality trait. You weren't mature, you were surviving. And every adult who praised you for it was accidentally benefiting from your pain. But before we go further, this isn't about making you feel broken, because not everything you built from that pain is damage. Your empathy is real. Your ability to stay calm when everything is falling apart, that's genuinely yours. Researcher Tedeschi calls this post-traumatic growth, strength that forms under pressure like a diamond. But here's the difference. The part of you that stays calm in chaos, that's yours. Keep it. The part that can't ask for help, that feels guilty for resting, that needs to be useful to feel worthy. That's not strength, that's armor. And there's a difference. The first step forward isn't fixing anything, it's grieving. Grieving the childhood you deserve but never got. The version of you who should have been running around and making a mess and not worrying about anything. That grief isn't weakness. It's proof that somewhere inside you, the kid who never got to be a kid is still there, still waiting. And here's what I need you to hear. You are not less valuable when you rest. You are not less lovable when you need something. You were never the problem. You were a child who did something extraordinary. You survived. If this was you, drop a comment, even just one word, because the person scrolling past your comment needed to read it just as much as you needed to write it. Subscribe to Quiet Psych, because this is just the beginning.